This is my review on Bruce Almighty. So, Jim Carrey believes in God, but he seems convinced that God hates him because he's always ignoring him when he needs help. So, Angelina Jolie, Jennifer Aniston's character is his wife, and he tells him to believe in God, and he says, I can ask him God for help, but he's always annoying me. He says, and everyone knows him, his wife, people he works with, his friends. No one appreciates him, I guess. And he just wants to be appreciated. Bruce just wants to be appreciated. As well as being himself. So he's granted all the powerful gifts of God because God says that is convinced that he can do better. Because God decides to give him all the powers because he's so convinced he could do better than him. So he just decides to make he makes the praise in something more easier. Answered by answering people pray by answering all people's pray. And send all the prayers, all the prayers to everyone through internet service. He changed God's good God process of doing this. He went with he decided to modernize it a little and have it as doing it as internet because internet is faster. And after he gets the powers, he sort of abuses them. He makes a monkey come out of a guy's ass for disrespecting him. And this is when he fully embraces who he is now. And this is when after God explains to him the rules, he can't interfere with free will, and that's what he does not interfere with free will. And he says, "Oh, God, but can I ask why?" And God says, "Yes, you can. See, that's the beauty of it." And that's the most important rule that he's not allowed to break. That he can't. That's the one rule that he cannot break, and he has to know. And so, at some point, he ends up losing his wife, and she ends up divorcing him. And this is after he gets a promotion from his old job. And before he gets the power of God, he has a mental breakdown on television because he just didn't got the story. He was being screwed with by his superior officers, so he just decided to screw them up and got fired, I guess. And he uses his charm to get his own job back. And how he gets promoted, he makes Evan Baxter, who is a bastard, played by none other than Steve Carell, who he makes Steve Carell look like he's having a mental breakdown on the air, and also so he gets fired, and he says. And it makes him say that he likes to read off these cue cards, saying he likes to do the cha-cha. And it makes him flash light on top. And then makes him say jibber jabber on the air. And Bruce gets now his job. So now that he gets things to turn on for better for Bruce, and he tries anything to do to woo his lady, and while also giving you bigger boobs and making the sun come closer to the earth. That said, how that's kind of dangerous because everyone's like, but it does make it is like kind of romantic. Um, so, yeah, he eventually gives, he says, because when he loses his girlfriend, he literally feels like he starts to, starts to feel like he lost everything that ever mattered to him, which was his girl. So, he thinks he can't go on the air any more longer. This one, Chaos is, going nuts, and because he's been a bad god, and he's so asks God for guidance. This is because everyone's going crazy, and asks God is anything he can do, and he says no for can't for you all, you know, and I know. It's that everyone's going crazy and he doesn't know what to do, so he asks God to do something because well, things are out of hand, and once he loses his girlfriend, then things are even more out of hand. He loses his girlfriend in the third act because the script says so in the video. You really do feel bad for Bruce. So, he says, I surrender to your, I really surrender to your will, God. I don't want to be you anymore. I don't want to be you anymore. And he gets hit and, ends up in heaven, and, God says, God asks Bruce, what are you thinking of? He's thinking of his ex-girlfriend, and he says, you want her back, right? And he says, no, I want her to be happy. I want her to be the man she deserves to be with, the person who can give her as much love as possible. And he says, all right, I'll see what I can do. And he brings him back to the life, and he ends up in a hospital, and his girlfriend's waiting for him to wake up because she came back to him, and even though she caused him misery, he caused her misery, she still loved him and asked God for help asked God for help to get over him. And he says, please God, I still love him. And so she just like doesn't know what she wants to do, and she ends up going back with the person she loves. And Bruce has his old job back after talking with his bosses and putting out good work for him. This changed Evan Baxter's life, and he just gives Bruce a hug. And that was Bruce Almighty. It's one of the better Jim Carrey films. I really love it a lot. It's very funny, but it's also very heartwarming at times and sad at times. I was saying it's basically anything I wanted the Passion of the Christ to be. So yeah, I give it a thumbs up, and that's my review.